Hello YouTubes, it is finally time to get my station platform and lighting done. No, seriously, we're doing it. Yeah, we're definitely doing it. Okay folks, here's the plan. I'm going to cover each side of the station platform with some fairly heavy duty crafting card. If that doesn't work, I'll use sheets of styrene, but we will start with what's cheap and see if that works. So I am going to overlap the platform just a little bit, just to bring it a bit closer to the passenger trains. I don't want to bring it any further out this way because I'm going to be building a little retaining wall with a little fence that runs all the way along. Once the platform is down, or at least in position, not necessarily glued down, but then I will be painting it. Not quite sure, I need to check some reference photos online, but I think in North America we've got a little yellow line that goes along the edge. I'll maybe score in some lines to simulate concrete slabbing, and then once all that's done and I'm happy, it will be lighting. And I do have a box of LED street lights and various sorts of lights. We can decide which ones we're going to use, but first let's clear away my nice buildings so that I don't wreck them, and we'll start shaping some card. So this is the card I'm using, Art Skills heavyweight boards. Doesn't look very heavyweight to me, but we shall give it a go. Also going to need sharp knife, fine tip brush pen, pencil, pins, tape, and a full-size passenger coach. Don't worry, that'll make sense in a minute. Let's cut some strips, and we're going to go about that deep for now. Yes, I know that's too far, but it'll make sense when I utilise the passenger coach. Trust the system. I'm going to cut some 2-inch strips. I need at least 3 per side of the platform, so I'll do many spares, okay? So that's our station platform surfaces done. Got a couple of spares. As you can tell, they don't have to be perfect at this stage. So let me move them over to the station itself, and I'll show you how this is going to work with our full-size coach. I'm going to pin these down for now, and just by luck, the length from there to there is exactly the length of this. Can't believe how lucky that was. Anyway, I'm going to extend them out to just the edge of the sleepers for now. Still got a lot of distance this side. Again, this will make sense at the next stage, so I'm going to just pin these into the cork so they don't move. And as you can see, the track does start to curve here, which is why I'm doing this. Three pins should do it. Let me get the other 2 sections done. Okay, we're all pinned down. Time for the magic. You see, I want the distance between the edge of the platform and the passenger coach to be as consistent as possible all the way down. So here's what I've come up with. A paint pen stuck to the corner of a passenger coach. So that's like the furthest point of any overhang, and with a bit of luck, when I get round here, it will reach the card and we can score that line all the way down. And this is the reason I'm using a paint pen rather than just a pen, because it's more like a brush and it'll brush it all the way down. So far this is working. It's kind of hard when I'm trying to film and manoeuvre a coach at the same time. But I think that was successful. Now, what I did notice there, I'm going to have to actually put another pen in the middle, because you see that coming over there. So let me edit that design. See you in a sec. Okay, let's try that again. So as you can see, I've already tested it. And that should meet the other line. But I think that's the only place that I'm going to need the wider section, just on the exit there, or entrance, depending on which way you're coming in. And obviously that line now doesn't matter, because that's going to get cut away from this side closest to us. So what I'll do then is I will trim all that off, then we can move the platform forward, and then we can trim this edge as well, and it should be perfect, ready for texturing and painting. All going well. So let me do that, bring you back in a sec. We are all trimmed to perfection, hopefully. Let's find out. We'll send this down. You were supposed to go all the way. Let's try that again. Trimmed to perfection, hopefully. Lovely. Lovely job. That's a good coach. Why did I never use that one? Louisville and Nashville. It's got a nice roll to it. Oh, wait a minute, I'm getting distracted. Right, I can remove this and start doing the texturing, making the slab lines, if you like, and adding some paint, and then the little yellow edge. I don't want to overcomplicate this thing. Once we cover it in lights and people and buildings and stuff, you're really not going to see much of it anyway. Oh, and I need to do the other side. So bring you back when that side's done and we're starting to do the texturing thing, okay? Okay then, other side of the station platform is ready also. And I did have to cut a little slope there, or a little curve, because as you can see, the front of that leans away out. So that should be just fine. Good. Okay, over to this little scrappy bit of card, and we will try my technique that I've never tried before. I brought a little supervisor along, make sure I don't mess up too much. So I think what I'll do is have two lines that way, one there, and then many lines going that way. And we'll try and keep it as consistent as possible. So this particular line, this particular scrap is about 5 centimeters. So let's make it 2.5 in the middle. 2.5 there. 2.5 there. Draw a line along the middle. And it doesn't need to be perfect, you know, in my world at least. And the distance we've got here is 21. Let's see. For a person comparison size, I'm not sure how big a slab would be. Let's just go every 2 centimeters, shall we? Yeah, we'll go every 2 centimeters. See how that looks. And if that's too much of a space between, we can reduce it. Two. 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Dave Scott. Egomaniac. Sorry, Supervisor, I think that you're going to have to move briefly. I'm just doing these fairly lightly with a pencil because I will be cutting into these and I don't want to have pencil marks everywhere once I do actually come around to painting it. Honestly guys, I have no idea if this is going to work. If I cut too deep, then I'll be making lots of little squares. If I don't cut deep enough, or score deep enough, then the paint's not going to seep in. Let's go for the middle one first. Oh god, I'm so paranoid. Let's get another scrap let's just see how deep we can go, shall we? Just noticed there's a shiny side and there's a matte side. I'm going to go with the shiny side because the matte side might just suck in all the paint and make it all warped. I think that's probably just about enough. Try another little test. Just light, consistent pressure. Yeah, we're not going the way through, but we're definitely making a little score mark. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, let's go for it on this one. Did I not mean to do 2? Hey Supervisor, are those slabs too big? What do you think? Nah, not really. I think that'll be okay. Right, let me score all these. And then it'll be time to try some paint, I guess. Only get one shot at this. Yep, that was okay. And I like using this knife because it's got its own weight. I don't have to really judge too much how much physical strength I'm putting into this because the blade does most of the work. Excellent. I know you can't see them yet, but hopefully that will be enough for the paint to seep into all the little lines and create the illusion of slab work. Right, let me go and get some paint. This is going to be the tricky bit. I haven't done this bit either. I am going to try the technique my wife uses to paint concrete, which is some satin grey paint. I think it's supposed to be matte, but I couldn't find any matte. And some matte black, very small amount of matte black, and a sponge. Splodge, splodge, splodge. Now, she's away to bed, so I'm not sure if I was supposed to do this, but I've actually wet the sponge, otherwise it's a bit rock hard. So we don't actually mix the paints, we just put mostly grey on our palette. Oh, better give it a shake first. Sounds rude. Squish some of that down. Apparently you don't need much, that's probably too much. And same with the black, except this time it's just a couple of drops. Come on. Oh, that's one. Actually, it's quite a small amount of grey, so I'm only going to put 2 drops of black. So apparently all we do is dip this in, dab it about, and then splodge it onto our surface. Because that's what she does. And the reason we're not wanting to mix it in is we want that randomness that would simulate real life. Right, let's give it a shot and start that way. And if it's a bit too prominent with either the black or the grey, then you just keep dabbing, I guess. Maybe change the angle of this sponge now and then so that it's not too regulated. Now straight away I'm seeing that my little groove marks are not showing up. So what I might have to do is do a bit of bending to pronounce said score marks, but we won't really know until it's dry completely, right? I'm just going to splodge that side a wee bit more, just to mix it just a wee shade more, but I do like how it's coming out with the different textures, or the different patterns, if you like, natural patterns in the grey. You're seeing a bit of a reflection from up above, but it kind of looks like that so far, and it's going to dry quite different. So let us wait for that to dry, see how it looks, see if we get any of our little slab cut marks. If we don't, then with the other side we'll do some folding to try and pronounce them. Right, I can tell even before this is dry it's not going to work like that, so let's try some folding, because it's this line here that we really want to get the paint into. So we'll fold a whole lot, back and forward a little bit, but mostly back, and all the way down. Try and get it as straight as possible. Doesn't matter if it's lumpy at this point, it's going to be getting glued down onto the station surface anyway. And also it's drying quite dark, so I think what we'll do is add a little bit more grey to this. There's obviously too much black in that. So a little bit more grey. And let's try this dabbing technique again, shall we? Now, I'm not seeing a lot of black this time, but that's probably a good thing, because we know it dries quite dark. And I don't want these lines to be too dominant, because you don't want people falling down them, right? Okay, let us wait for that to dry and see how it looks. That should be dry enough for testing purposes. You can already see that the lines are now defined compared to there. And what's worse is the section that I didn't fold, it's kind of white in between. So I think that's going to work. I know it's all warped at the moment, but once it's glued down it'll be flat. So I think it is time to do the rest, because I'm quite happy with that. Probably do a little bit more paint, because I can see a bit of speckling there where I didn't get full coverage, but overall that's over there on the track. Remember, we've still got the yellow line to go on. I will explain why I've not done that yet and why I've not glued this over there yet, because it's all to do with the yellow line. Right, let me get all the other strips done and we'll be ready to glue it down soon. Oh, it's exciting. Yeah, happy with that. So we just wait for that to dry and then we can move on to the final stage, the yellow line. That should be dry enough for the next stage, my yellow line. I did a bit of research, and in Canada at least, most of the station platforms have just got a single yellow line around here. And this is why I have not glued it down yet, because I'm going to use this edge as its own little guide with this pen. Make sure there's some paint coming through. Hold this nice and still, and I'm pushing this up against the edge, and hopefully the overlap will be just the right amount. Like so. And if it's not the right amount, I can do it again with a little bit more overlap, but I think that's okay. Remember, you've got to multiply that by 87 times to get the actual scale. In fact, let's get our supervisor in on the job and see what he thinks. Possibly needs to be just a little bit fatter than that. Although I'm not sure, so we'll wait for that to dry. I need to go over it again anyway with another layer of paint because it's a wee bit washed out. Although washed out might not be a bad idea. Might look a wee bit more realistic. Okay, we'll let it dry anyway, see how it looks. Right, I'm going to give it one more once over. Maybe try and get a little bit further on because it's just a wee bit skinny, my link. That's better, I think. Oh yeah, much better. And it's still a little bit washed out because I've gone over it a bit further or a bit deeper in, which is fine because I kind of want it slightly weathered looking. Yep, I'm happy with that. Let's see if the supervisor agrees. Oh yes, excellent. Let's get all the other sections done and then we'll be ready to glue it down. Finally. Okay, everything's painted, but before we glue it down, I'm going to make sure the paint is nice and dry. So far, I'm not getting too much warpage with the card, so I think we'll be okay. Anyway, see you in the morning. The paint isn't going to take all night to dry, so let's check that. And if that's dry, we'll get the glue down because the glue will take all night to dry. I'll be using white glue in a tube with a brush and a little roller that I made, not specifically for this job. I think I used it for the car, for gluing down vinyl to something. Anyway, that should work to smooth it down. Don't think my wife would like me using the rolling pin. Let's start at the back, since I don't want to be leaning over my freshly glued stuff. So a squidge of this. Try and get all the bumps out of it first. Odd bits of ballast hiding in there. Has to be perfect-ish. Right, do a wee squiggle of this. That's probably way too much. And spread you about. And I do have a little line mark there for the next section. You know what? I think that was just the right amount of glue. Okay. Make sure platform concrete is clear of any ballast. Get you stuck down. Not solid at the moment because I need to run my little test train by. Make sure we're at the right level. Oh, a wee bit close there. Wee bit close there. Just about there, I believe. Let's try the other section. It's going to go there. Yep, I think that's where we want it. Right there. Lovely. We'll get our little roller. Start in the middle. Hopefully I won't need to add any weights to this, but we'll see. Cool, one section down, 5 to go. Okay, this time I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, my glue is now set. My platforms look reasonably flat. We have a little RDC going by just to test everything out. I think that's looking rather spiffy. And yes, I did mess about with, yeah, let's ignore that. I was trying to add a bit of a black wash into the grooves because you couldn't really see them. Might revisit that. We'll see. I've still to put lights and a fence on, so that might just disappear anyway. But overall, happy with the results so far. Next step is a retaining wall. I'm hoping I can find something I can use in this big bag of stuff that I got from a train show for about $30. That seems like a lot until you see what's in here. Much more than $30 worth. Anyway, I'll spill this out over here and see if we can use any of it. All sorts of goodies in here. We've got some roofing, I believe that's what that is. That's not going to work. We've got curtains. Clear sheet. That's a potential. Little green brick. I think that's too big. That's too chunky. Too chunky. That's almost like platform material. Should have looked in the bag first. It's not long enough though, so let's not get too carried away with that. This is just a plastic base. Lots of clear stuff. Oh, that's thick clear stuff. Don't know what that is. Oh, that's the styrene I was talking about I might have to use, but I don't think they have to use it after all. Come on, give me something I can use. What's in here? Just lots of stuff. Styrene sheets. More clear stuff. Lots of clear stuff. Sometimes you just got to go into these bags now and then and remind yourself what you have, because there's lots of good stuff in here. Tons of window material in there. Styrene. More clear stuff, clear stuff. Don't know what that is. What would I use that for? Oh, actual windows. Nice. Anyway, come on. I've got enough clear stuff. Give me some brickwork or something I can use. Oh, that's nice. That's like aluminum siding or something, or maybe part of a tin roof. 2 bits of that. Come on, I'm looking for the holy grail of forgot what I called that now. The wall thing. That'll come to me. Bolstering wall? Nope. More of this. This is a sort of base stuff. Could probably use that for a lot of the sidework, pavementy stuff in the town when we get to that. Ah, right. This is more like it. Ooh. This has got potential. Perhaps. I don't know if I'm going to have enough. It only has to be about just over a centimetre a strip. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not be enough of that unless there's another sheet of it. What else we got? This is a big one. Oh, I think that could be it. I'm hoping you can make out the texture on that one. And this is a bit bigger than that sheet, so I might have... Oh, what am I talking about? I don't need any for the far side because no one's going to see that. But I think this is what I want, but I will need to paint it. So that one's winning so far. Let's just have a wee check, see if there's anything else in here. More styrene sheets. This is great. I didn't know I had any of this. Because it's quite expensive when you buy it. Oh, look at this. Little signs. DeSoto approved service, Plymouth. Nope, that's nice, but too small. Ooh, more bricky stuff. Actually, that's wood planking stuff. That's nice. Roofing stuff. This is just card. Bits and bobs. What's that? Little tiny numbers. Transfers. Nice. Okay, we'll get more. Oh, we'll get tons. Look, we'll get tons. So in here we have Pebble Dash, or pebbly stuff. I don't really think that's what I want. Red bricky stuff. Fine red brick. That would be better for a house. So the other one's still winning. More red brick. Grey brick. Grey brick. I do have quite a lot of this. It is quite modern looking compared to this one. Decisions. You know what, I think I'm going to go for this one because it's kind of plain looking, but most of this siding is going to be hidden by buildings and things, so it would be a waste to use this really nice one. I don't even know if you can see the texture in that, but it's really lovely. So we're going to go with this. I need to measure it, cut it into strips, find a way of sticking it in there. That's all my retaining walls cut. I remembered what they were called. But they look a bit plain. So I'm going to try another paint effect, courtesy of my wife. So this time I want to try and highlight the cement work or grout between the bricks. So let's go with some white, and I'm going to do a very diluted white wash. So just a little squidge of white. Oh, I don't think this one's ever been opened. Oh, it has. It's just a bit thick. I don't want the lumps, thank you very much. Squish in some water. Plenty. Give it a stir. And that should be plenty to do everything, even if I have to go over it a couple of times. Just make sure it's all mixed in. Because I really don't want this to be prominent, at least not on the brick surface, because I will be dabbing some kitchen towel over the top to get rid of the actual surface paint. So we just want to get that in there. That's immediately doing what I wanted it to do, so that's good. Okay. I think that might actually work. This is great. And again, it doesn't need to be perfectly regular because then it just looks fake. Work my way up. Oh, I went a wee bit generous there. Right, let's try and dab that off without removing the good stuff in between all the bricks, shall we? Oh, it's tricky. You just got to touch the surface. Any more than a touch and you're sucking up all the paint. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Perfect is bad. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. I hope you can see what I'm talking about. Might go over that again. So I will let that one dry and do the rest at the moment. And if I have to come back and do another coat, then so be it. I like that so far. I think that's going to work. Okay, see you in a bit. That's all my little brick sections painted. That's pretty much what I was going for. I'm happy with that. Fairly consistently random, if you know what I mean. Yep, that'll work. Right, I need to find some sort of glue to attach them to the side there. Probably just white glue. But I do need to find something to prop these up with because they're quite stiff and that's not perfectly smooth. Well, I ended up using super glue. White glue just wasn't strong enough to hold it in place. So this is how it looks. A wee bit uneven at that joint, which is frustrating, but that's okay. Apart from that, it's fairly decent, I think. Keep me going for now. I'm going to have to touch that up. That's way too dark, that line. Once it's got a wee fence at the front and lighting and put the station back on and Tim Hortons there and KFC, you wouldn't notice it. I'm quite happy with it overall though. Looks like a station platform to me. Yeah, job done. Next video in this series will be installing lighting and that little fence. No point doing the fence just now because I'll just knock it over when I'm installing the lighting. So yeah, as I say, next video we'll go through all the different lights I've got and I'll choose which I think is going to look best for the station. So thank you very much. I will leave you with a passenger train pulling up to the station. What a novel idea. Take care, see you soon.